Champions League week is upon us, which means it's time to put my neck on the line and get absolutely slaughtered for my Champions League predictions. So we're not going to predict the knockout stages. We'll wait till we get to the quarters and semis to do that. We will be doing a little bit of predictions on tactics, but I'm just going to put my neck out there and basically say the three teams, I was asked this question, three teams I think can win the competition this year, and it's very tough to decide at the moment. The draws come into account, like which teams have been played. I would have said Barcelona before this draw, but the way this competition is going, they're not going to make my top three because I think they might. It's going to be a hurdle against Manchester City. City might show some resilience and beat them. I really don't know with Barcelona, so they're not going to make my list at the moment. Going to stick to the teams that I think will make it. So first up, Chelsea. Under Jose Mourinho's guidance, we know about his performance in the Champions League with Inter Milan and Porto. The guy knows how to play in this competition, so I think that he's got them well structured. Usually Chelsea defend really well and don't score as many goals, but they scored 17 goals in the group stages this season, and it's number one out of the group stages. They're a high-scoring team, and they only conceded 3. And that's a reason why I think Chelsea could definitely go all the way this year. They've combined a great defensive stonewall performance back there. They know what works against teams. They know how to break teams down, but they've also got a fearsome attacking presence with Hazard, Diego Costa, pending he doesn't get sent off or anything crazy, and Fabregas to link up the play in there. So I think that Chelsea, if they overcome PSG, which will be a hard game, I can imagine it going to the wire against both of those teams. They did play last year, remember that. But I do think that Chelsea could go to the final, definitely, if not win the competition this year. Next up, not exactly a surprise, but Bayern Munich. I feel like Guardiola has got his team structured to win the Champions League. They've had a minor upset in the last couple of weeks in the Bundesliga, but I don't think that's going to cause any problems when it comes to the Champions League. They've got a mix of experience and youth, and they've got aggression, and most importantly, they've got that killer instinct. The killer instinct that can win the competition, that's what sets teams apart, because many times we've seen the great teams like Bayern Munich against Chelsea. Let's not forget that they lost in the final against Chelsea because they didn't have the killer instinct to finish the game. Now if you look at the players like Arjen Robben, they've came on a long way. Robben then followed up with goals against Dortmund, remember that Champions League final, and they just look like they know how to close out the competition now. And I think with Lewandowski added up top, it adds that extra goal scoring threat, and I think that Bayern Munich could definitely be the team, if not my number one pick, to win the competition this year. And then next on the list, despite their thumping against Atletico Madrid, Real Madrid will still make my top 3 teams I think could, subjective to me, could win this competition. They destroyed in the group stage, only conceding 2 goals, which was second lowest next to Monaco, actually, who I'll mention in a minute. But Real Madrid only conceded 2 goals, just dominating their performance, and they just know how to play in the Champions League at the moment. Ancelotti has got them focused on the competition. Last year's win is a huge boost for them. They'll be going out to try and win back-to-back Champions League, and as long as they avoid Atletico maybe to the final again, I do think that they could go all the way. They have to sort some things out at the back at the moment. They're really trying to find a replacement for the likes of Ramos if he gets injured, which isn't a good sign, because you never know what happens in the Champions League. They might have to play without Ramos or Ronaldo at certain times. So I think that Real Madrid, once they figure out who's going to fill in the gaps if players get injured, I think they'll be fine. And I could see them going through definitely to the final and maybe winning the competition. So those are my 3 picks. But I'm going to throw to a couple of underdog picks that cannot be overlooked to maybe cause some upsets. First up is Monaco. Conceded 1 goal in the group stage and went through only scoring 4 goals. How insane is that? Finished top of their group as well. They have got a tough game against Arsenal, who will be the favourites to win this, but I think if Monaco manage to overcome Arsenal, which might not be unlikely considering Arsenal's inconsistency in the Champions League, I think that Monaco could sneak through to the later rounds of the competition. We remember the year that they got to the final with Jose Mourinho's Porto team beating them. So I think that they could definitely be considered as a team to watch out for. And of course, this isn't exactly a team to watch out for, but they're still considered an underdog, even though they got to the final last year, and it's Atletico Madrid. Diego Simeone's team are going to be hard to break down. I think that it's going to be crucial for them to get into the quarters, if not the semis, and they could definitely go all the way as well as an underdog team. But I've give you my 3 and a couple of underdogs. Obviously, you can't rule out Barcelona pending their result against Man City. Big game. We want to know your comments. Leave them in the section below. Let us know who your picks are for the Champions League. Stay interactive, stay involved, watch the recaps, because the Champions League is huge and we can't wait to cover it for you guys. Thanks.